Roman Harper is with us, SEC Network. He is on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. We're getting a tour through Harp's house right now on the preview screen. We're in the basement now. It's beautiful. What's up, Harp? How are you?
Hey, do you love that old logo?
What's up, guys?
Do you love that old logo, that Alabama logo you have on your sweatshirt? Do you wish Alabama would use it more?
No.
Okay.
I don't miss it. I don't miss it like that. Not at all. It is old school, but I mean, it's just cool on a couple hoodies here and there. I got a couple hats with it on. Nothing, we don't have to bring it all out like that. It's okay though. I like the normal current A though.
The old script A. You're a script A guy.
Yeah, I'm a script A guy. I'm completely. I was raised on the script A. This old school is like 80s, 70s. Like, I'm cool.
So what's the most interesting thing you've got in that room?
Let's see. Yeah, I'll turn it around. How do I change my camera angle? It's probably how do I change it? Oh, there it is.
There you go.
No, there we go.
Probably, I got my I got golden tea here.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty intriguing.
Yeah.
And then this is probably one of my favorites. Me and Anthony Madison and Jawan Simpson. I got them to sign this. I had an interception. Of course, I got the Rocky stop. This is another 2021 championship poster. And then a guy made this for me when I was going into the Saints Hall of Fame. So these are just little trinkets I got in my room, kind of where I do a podcast at. My old school jersey on a mannequin. That's kind of cool.
Sweet right there. I like that.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got a golf a championship belt because I won Mike Tolbert's golf tournament. Me and a couple of my buddies freaking crushed it that day. Drank about 30 beers too on the way. It was a great day. And then I got both of my Super Bowl jerseys up there. So, it's just little stuff. PlayStation's in there. I'm just trying to do the little things.
No,
guys.
it's cool.
Oh, and also, my pool table's Alabama too.
Yeah.
Rolling with the tide.
Hey, so can you explain what happened in Columbia, South Carolina on Saturday night?
Oh my gosh. So it was crazy, right? South Carolina has not looked that good. They haven't looked that efficient all year long, and they come out and just blow the doors off Tennessee. They had a couple of different pass concepts that Tennessee was not guarding well at all, and they stuck with them. It wasn't like they did anything crazy. When they wanted to take shots down the field, they 7-man protected it, and they kept Spencer Rattler clean, which he has not been protected at all year long. So for him to come out here, only be sacked once on a free runner, only got pressured like twice throughout the whole game. Like, that was the real difference in the game. They jumped out to an early start, which normally that has been who Tennessee's been all year long. They got a couple stops when they needed to, but man, Tennessee's defense was horrendous. And I got to give South Carolina, Shane Beamer, that offensive crew a whole bunch of credit, including my boy Freddie Kitchens, who I got to hang out with too for a second, was that Spencer never dropped back one time in that game and seemed confused. Not one time. He knew exactly where he was going from pre-snap to post-snap every single time. And for me, fellas, that was the biggest difference in this game, was that Spencer Rattler's comfortability was off the charts. And for the first time all year long, somebody finally had a couple different answers for Tennessee's offense. They moved in Cam Smith from an outside corner to an inside corner. And they just said, bro, you just go wherever Jalen Hyatt is and make somebody else beat us. And Tennessee really has not had anything but the fastball all year long. It's just two teams have all of a sudden said, you know what, we're not going to let you throw the fastball, or we're going to hit it. We're sitting on the fastball. And can you throw an off-speed pitch? And Tennessee has not been able to do that on the two games that they've lost this year.
Obviously, Alabama fans were reacting watching that. When you see Cam Smith follow one guy, I mean, he moved inside into the slot with Hyatt, and a lot of fans were in my timeline, Roman, saying, why did Alabama keep letting Heupel work a matchup to find Hyatt on the guy they wanted throughout the Alabama game? Why was it not best on best like you used to see old school NFL when you'd move Revis or somebody around to be the best on the best? Why would Alabama not do the same thing?
So Alabama, first of all, Nick Saban's name ain't on my checks, so I can't answer that question for you directly. But like, I would say the same thing. And look, if you watch my show on Saturdays, we talked about that before the Georgia-Tennessee game, was that I would play all these stacks and bunches and what Tennessee likes to do completely the opposite of what Alabama did. However Alabama did it, I would do it completely opposite. I would press the point more. I would also what we do call top hat, where I'm lined up on the guy on top of the ball, but then I'm locking the guy behind him, which was Jalen Hyatt, because that's all they did. They found the matchup that they wanted and exploited it over and over and over again. And Alabama did not adjust. It was a poor. They got outcoached, they got outplayed, and they lost the game because they were undisciplined on top of all those other things. So right now, Alabama's looking at themselves, kicking themselves because they let a couple games get away from them. And a lot of it has to do with coaching, how you're putting your players in position to make plays. And when you see other teams do it at a higher level or better versus the teams that you lost to, it is a little bit disappointing as a fan, and I understand that. And I respect that the fans with those questions. And the coaches should be able to stand up and tell you why they felt a different way to do it or why they addressed it the way that they did. But personally, I'm with you guys. I just it was kind of mind-blowing to me to see that Alabama never adjusted.
Roman Harper is with us. He is on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Don't forget Johnston RV Center cleaning out their 22s still to make room for the 23s. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, JohnstonRVCenter.com. Let's talk about the Iron Bowl, Harp. Alabama obviously is a big favorite in this game. I look at Auburn, and they've got to have some help from Alabama to pull this upset here. But I think Auburn also just can't be this one-dimensional. They have been able to line up and complete single-digit passes and run the ball, almost beat State, beat Texas A&M, beat Western Kentucky. Can that formula work in Bryant-Denny Stadium?
I would say no, just off the top of it, but I've seen crazier things. I remember when Cadillac got hurt and Trey Smith came out there and beat Alabama pretty much by himself in that one crazy day.
Yep.
In the early 2000s. So we've seen some things happen in this Iron Bowl. I don't anticipate that. Nick Saban is normally, under his regime, has not had letdowns like that, and especially since that first season. So I would say no. Auburn can't throw the ball. So Alabama's biggest weakness is they give up big plays in the pass game, and just you don't even know how sometimes. But I'm not gonna go and get on my soapbox on that. That's already frustrating enough. But Auburn, their biggest threats aren't things that Alabama struggles with. So, fighters always, the who they are kind of makes up the fight too, right? We got to always remember that styles make up the fight. So when Auburn is a team that's a run-first team, their quarterback struggles to throw and complete passes with his accuracy and things of that nature, throwing it in the tight windows. Alabama is going to have players in position to make plays. They got to be able to make them. They're a team, traditionally, this defense has not forced turnovers all year long. Auburn's been a team that has turned the football over multiple times all year long. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this thing kind of plays out. But as long as you stop the run game of Auburn, they won't beat you. That's just what it's been. And you've got to be able to protect the quarterback because Auburn's defensive line still is kind of salty up front. And they got some guys up there that can give you problems. Alabama's offensive line has been better this year, but are they truly great? I wouldn't say that.
Harp, Ole Miss has lost 3 of 4. Now they've got the Egg Bowl Thursday night. They're only a 2.5-point favorite. There's a million rumors out there about Lane Kiffin taking this Auburn job. How much do you think him possibly being unengaged has mixed into them losing 3 of 4?
Well, it's funny, I saw the tweet last night that somebody said he was going to take the job. He's going to walk away on Friday. And then all of a sudden I see, because of course Lane is hip to all Twitter, right? Even probably if he's at practice, he's still hip to it. So that he came out and said, oh man, I didn't know about this. So it's really weird going back and forth. And you're right. It's more than a million, rumors out there. It's probably like 5 million. It's so many out there when it comes to Lane and Ole Miss. And I do believe that he is their number one guy, that they're going to try and offer him more money, more years, bigger program, more exposure, NIL more. And they got a brand new complex. Like all that it's all more than what Ole Miss can offer him. But can Auburn truly offer him the happiness that he has at Ole Miss and the security that he has at Ole Miss, where you win 9-10 games, bro? You're the first one that's ever done that. Like we're good. And also, when you go out or when you live in your own life, when you're not coaching football, we're going to allow you to do that, not be in your business. So it's going to come down to that. I think it's Lane, and then after that, it's probably Hugh Freeze or somebody else. But I don't know personally. I wish I did know, because I just got a phone call from 2 people last night asking me questions, and it's been at least one call a day all week since this past Saturday, especially since they had the lackluster loss versus Arkansas last week. It's like, is Lane still engaged? Is he 1 foot in, 1 foot out? All these rumors are only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But Auburn has to hire somebody after the Iron Bowl, or you're going to lose out on a recruiting season, which they cannot afford to do again.
Bryce Young and Will Anderson said they'll make a decision about their future at a different time. They have not thought about anything but the Iron Bowl. But as a guy who played the game, if you were Bryce Young's dad or Will Anderson's dad, what would your advice be after Saturday about their future in Tuscaloosa? Would you opt out of a bowl game? Would you advise them to opt out of a bowl game that's not a playoff game? What would you do, Rome?
It would be very interesting. I have already brought this up. I think it's going to be a question that is, it's necessary, and why would you not at least consider it? But it's also a way where you can get some insurance done too for very cheap. And I'm sure if you talk to the school, they can handle it for you. So you don't walk away with nothing. But these are 2 players that generally have not been injured either. So at this point, I looked at doing some insurance my senior year. And my biggest thing was, if I pay this money now, I'm out of money. And I've actually never been hurt before. So what am I doing? Am I saying I'm really jinxing myself by thinking like, all right, if I play, I'm going to get hurt this time? Or am I really these guys have way more draft value than me. Let's just be honest with it. I think it'll be an interesting conversation, but I won't sit up here and tell you confidently what they will or will not do, just because who they are on that team. And that Nick Saban, traditionally, even when these games have happened, their guys still play. So that's what the past has shown me. Is like, nah, they still play. So I will still say that until I see differently. It will be interesting, though, especially if Bryce Young does not play. This Alabama team is a shell of themselves if Bryce Young is not at quarterback.
All right, he is Roman Harper. See him on the SEC Network and ESPN. At Harp41 is where you follow him on Twitter. At Harp_41 on Instagram. Harp, thank you for the time, man. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Hey, man, happy Thanksgiving, man. Hopefully you guys eat well and treat your family nice, and it'll be great seeing everybody. I get to go home myself, so I'm excited to be back in Prattville. So
Prattville, Alabama. Here Harp comes. All right, buddy. Safe travels.
All right, fellas.
Thank you. Roman Harper with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator, JohnstonRVCenter.com.